Hi guys, what's up? Tori here. Oh goodness. Right as I start recording, of course, we decide to try and flop over. Um, so I am here today to do Braylee's 8 and 9 month update. I'm so sorry I did not get around to doing an 8 month update. Braylee is actually 9 months old now. She turned 9 months yesterday. Today is actually Monday, August 23rd, and yesterday was August 22nd, which is when she actually turned 9 months. But the last month has just been so crazy for us, so I just never got around to doing an 8 month update on her. I'll try to keep more pointed down towards her so you guys can see her, but clearly a lot has happened with her and has changed, so we'll just kind of go ahead and get into it. Obviously the big thing is in her last video she still had her helmet, and as you can see she no longer has her helmet. She actually got her helmet off right at the beginning of July was when we went in for another checkup, and they said she could be done with her helmet. They actually gave us, you saying hi, they actually gave us the option to either continue it or just be done with it, because where her head was at, they said you could keep doing it and round it out even more, maybe a little faster than it would on its own. Or you can just choose to be done with it, and the little itty bitty bit of flatness that's still there will probably over time just round out on its own and not be an issue. And there's also hardly any flatness. You can only tell it's there if you go and feel her head. You can just feel an ever so slight flat spot, but just by looking at it you cannot see it at all. And where her measurements were for her head, they said, if you would have brought her in with her measurements like this, we wouldn't have even recommended the helmet, because for one, it probably will just grow and round out on its own as she continues to grow. And also, once she gets more hair and stuff, it won't even be noticeable anyway, and you can honestly only notice it if you actually go to feel it. So we just decided to go ahead and be done with the helmet, because we were and they said it might make the process go a little bit faster, but not anything crazy faster. So we were just you know what, if it's not absolutely necessary anymore, we'll just be done with it. So we chose to be done with it. So she's now been without her helmet for a little over a month, about a month and a half. And we've been loving being without the helmet. And as you can see, as another update, she can completely sit up on her own now. She doesn't really need to be held up at all. And if she does flop over, it's kind of on her own choice, because she's reaching for something, and she usually does it pretty softly and gracefully. Every once in a while she forgets to and will flop over a little harder, but she really does pretty good on her own. And part of what made this last month so crazy is we were battling so much sickness in this last month. Braylee actually ended up getting a UTI at one point. It was actually right when she turned 8 months is when she got her UTI, so that's why the update just didn't happen. We ended up bringing her to the ER because she had such a high fever, and then they did a urine test on her, and that's where they found that she had a UTI. So then she was on antibiotics, and then her antibiotics gave her a rash, which the rash didn't really bother her a whole ton, but I mean, there was that, and we ended up taking her to the doctor to make sure it wasn't an allergic reaction. It wasn't hives, but it definitely was a rash. And then once we were over that, then she actually ended up getting a cold, and I also ended up getting a cold. So we both had colds that we were fighting then. And then too, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple of funerals to go to, so that also happened. Not anyone super close to us, not immediate family or anything crazy like that. Just one was a lady from church that meant a lot to me. She was an older lady, and then the other one was my best friend lost her husband unexpectedly, so I went to that funeral to support her and be with her. So we had that too, which is where kind of some of that craziness is. But to get back to this update on Braylee, sitting up completely on her own. We just transitioned her into 12-month size clothes and out of 9-month clothes, because the 9 months were just starting to get a little too small and too tight. So I was all right, time to transition out. So we are now in 12-month clothes. She's actually currently wearing a pair of 9-month pajamas. I have an outfit to put on her in just a little bit here. So she is now in 12-month clothes. She is in size 4 diapers now. I believe probably in the last update she was still in size 3s, but she's in size 4 diapers now. We had to up diaper sizes too. And she also has, in the last couple of weeks, completely boycotted baby food, except for the baby cereal. She'll still eat the baby cereal just fine, and I usually always will give that to her at breakfast. But otherwise, we are just eating regular table food now. I will literally pretty much just like mush up and chop really teeny tiny and fine about anything that we're eating, as long as it's something that's like easily eatable by somebody who has only 2 teeth, because she still only has her 2 bottom teeth, and I keep thinking like more are on their way, because there'll be times where she acts like she's kind of teething a bit, but I keep feeling periodically, and I have yet to feel anything else come through, so it's still just the 2 bottom teeth, but I feel like more gotta be coming fairly soon. I guess we'll see. Whoa, what are you doing, goof? I don't know what she is doing here. I guess we'll just sit her up on me and I will do this. But yeah, so she loves baby puffs too, so I will give her like the little baby puffs, and also the like teething wafer crackers. She really loves those too, so I'll give her those quite frequently as well. You stink. I think you have a poopy diaper. I will get to that soon as we can get through this video. So I'll give her those, but yeah, I have been doing like canned veggies. I'll just warm those up and give those to her because those are real mushy. Or if I make some vegetables my own, I will just cook them really, really thoroughly so they're real soft and easy for her. I've given her some like tiny pieces of chicken that are just shredded up into real small pieces. I've cut hot dog up for her in really teeny tiny pieces, and she's done that fine. She does mac and cheese just fine, even just plain cheese. I have given her that just in little pieces, and I've given her, we went out to a restaurant for Matt's birthday last week, and I gave her, I ordered her grilled cheese, and I just cut the grilled cheese up in real tiny pieces, and she ate that. But this girl is a eater. She is a pig lately, like she will nurse fully and then still eat a whole bunch of food. Like, she is a non-stop eater, and as you can see, she is also quite the wiggle worm. She is constantly moving, constantly busy. She even moves nonstop in her sleep. Don't you, little miss? So she's constantly moving, constantly busy. As far as naps go, she does a morning nap and an afternoon nap. That really hasn't changed any. She is also, as you could just hear there, she is also a talker, babbler extraordinaire. She babbles nonstop, much to my chagrin. The main thing she says is da 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 all the time, and I try to get her to say mama, and then she just goes da 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 da. So Matt wins that one. She said dada first. But yeah, and she will just babble and make noise all the time, and she laughs and plays like crazy. She is just a ball of like sunshine and joy. Like, the only time like she cries like when she wants something. That's pretty much it. Like, cries when she's tired and ready for a nap. Cries if she's but she more fusses like when she's hungry, and she'll kind of do more crying if she's really tired and needs to go to sleep. But otherwise, like, obviously she'll only cry like if something hurts her or scares her. Like, I mean, the necessary baby things. Like, otherwise, like, she is really quite always a very happy-go-lucky baby. We did have one bout of rough bedtimes where she would just cry and cry after I laid her down. So we had like a little more than, it was like a week and a half of, probably even getting close to 2 weeks of having to do some serious cry it out at bedtime. That was the only way to make her go to sleep, because otherwise if I'd go back in there, I would rock her and she'd fall back asleep, but then as soon as I lay her down again, she would just cry again. So I had to let her cry it out, and that was so rough and hard, probably more so on me than her. So we had that little brief bout there, but now she's been doing bedtimes just fine again. I usually put her to, usually start getting her ready for bed around 7-ish, sometimes earlier if she's just acting real tired. But it's usually around 7-ish that I start getting her ready for bed. Sometimes, at the earliest, I start getting her ready for bed at 6:30, but usually it's more closer to 7 that I start getting her ready for bed. So then she's usually in bed. She's usually in bed and asleep by 8 o'clock for sure. sometimes a little later if she happens to be having a slightly rougher evening, but usually it's around 8ish that she's in bed and sleeping. That's kind of what we aim for. Like I said, it does vary a little bit. Sometimes it's a little later if she's having a rougher night. Sometimes it's earlier if she's just super, super tired and just can't handle it anymore. It kind of just depends on the day and how things kind of played out. And also depends on how good of naps she got, because sometimes this girl can be a little bit of a stinker about her naps. Her morning nap is usually about an hour, sometimes hour and a half. And then her afternoon nap is usually a good 2.5 hours, sometimes even close to 3 if she really, really is tired. Again, that kind of varies, but yeah. And this girl just like seems so huge to me all of a sudden. I don't know her exact current weight and length. It was a couple weeks ago that she was at her pediatrician because we were getting her urine rechecked, and then also we were checked on that rash, and at that time she was like almost 18 pounds, I believe. And then she was like 26 inches at that time, but I think she's probably a little bigger than that now because I think this kid is having a serious growth spurt just with how much she is eating. I've been like introducing a sippy cup to her just like while she's eating meals, and she is kind of starting to figure out her sippy cup a little bit, so that's kind of a nice thing. So hopefully, because my plan is at a year is when we'll work on being done with breastfeeding, so when she's a year old. So I obviously want to breastfeed her up to a year because that's what they for sure recommend, but I definitely think I kind of want to be done breastfeeding her by a year. I love breastfeeding her. It's just the whole having to pump when at work. I can't stand it. I hate pump. I really don't like to pump. I just don't like the way it makes I don't like the way the pump feels. It's not comfortable to me. How some women can just pump all the time, I don't understand it because I just personally don't like the way it feels. I love to nurse her, but I hate pumping. So when I can be done with that for a while at least, that'll be nice because, you know, we don't plan on her being our only child. We do plan on having more, but yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other major updates. She's not crawling really yet. She still will roll everywhere. If she's on her back, she will roll all over to go get stuff, but she is not crawling yet. She'll sometimes like lift herself up onto all fours a little bit and try to reach for things, but it's usually after a while when she gets frustrated, if she's not getting to it, that's when she'll just roll so she can go get to it. So, I mean, that's kind of the most that we're at. Sometimes there's like tiny attempts at like an army crawl, but again, not really like anything major occurring there. Like I said, there is small attempts here and there, but nothing crazy. But yeah, so I think that is all the major updates we have with her. Not anything else too crazy going on. I still work full time, so I work a little. I have to go in a little later today. I work 10 to 6 today, so that's why we're doing this video this morning briefly while we have the chance. But yeah, and then as far as updates with me go, there's not anything crazy to update with me. Like I said, I'm still working. As far as like postpartum, like weight loss and stuff, I still have like 7 pounds of baby weight to lose because it's so like I never realized how hard it would be to lose the weight postpartum. And I've been told that the main issue with that is probably because I'm breastfeeding. Like your body needs you to take in a little more calories in order to keep producing enough milk and stuff. So that's probably like the hardest part about it. And also the hardest part is it's like I struggle with like I want to exercise and get in exercise as much as I can, but I struggle so much with finding the time because between working and then having her, like I like to try to spend as much time as I can with her when I am around. So it's like doing stuff with her, and then also Matt and I like to do stuff as a family with her and stuff too. So like finding time for that between both of us working, and then obviously like stuff needs to be done around the house every once in a while too. As you can maybe tell, we did get some new flooring. Matt's been putting in new flooring because we desperately needed new floors. So, you know, just things like that going on, and it's been so hard. Like I try to take walks and stuff with her when I can, and I've been wanting to get back into doing more like workout type stuff, but it's just I've been struggling with finding good time to do it. So I don't know. I keep thinking that like when this happens or when that happens, I should be able to get back into it more, but it's just a struggle, y'all. Like I didn't realize how much of a struggle it would be like once I was a parent to find time for that kind of thing. So yeah. But overall, I'm doing really pretty well, and she's doing great. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all the updates I have for you guys. If you have any questions on anything or anything like that, you can definitely leave it in the comment section below. And then hopefully her next month update, I will actually be able to get on time and nothing else too crazy will go on. Like I said, this last month has just been full of crazy. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.